We now have an insider that is letting us know exactly what is going on with the Juan Soto free agency sweepstakes. Are the Dodgers still in it? We get into all that in this episode of Dodgers Digest. Hey, this is Mike Nelson. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. I want to thank the 12% of you, the ones that are watching these videos who have already hit the sub button, but 87% of you have not subscribed yet. Myself, Brad J, we're bringing you everyday Dodger content. You don't want to miss out. We're the best Dodger channel out there. There's no one else like us, so make sure to subscribe. Let's get right into it. So we got a pretty interesting article from Bob Nightingale today in the USA Today. Basically, it went over everything that's going on, the latest that's going on with Juan Soto, MLB rumor mill, what we're hearing from GMs with Juan Soto contract looming large. As we know, Juan Soto, the biggest free agent available in the 2024 offseason. And Bob kind of went into everything that's going on. So let's get right into it. This is from the article. There are only 4 teams that are seriously in play for Soto: the Mets, the Yankees, the Toronto Blue Jays, and the Boston Red Sox. So as we know, our Dodgers are no longer on the list, according to Bob Nightingale. This is absolutely a big development, to say the least, considering the Dodgers met up with Juan Soto this past week, right? There was a report that there was a scheduled meeting between Scott Boras, his agent, and the Dodgers. Basically, Juan Soto has been meeting with multiple teams in Southern California this past week, getting meetings with a lot of different teams, and it looks like it's down to 4, according to Bob Nightingale. The Mets, the Yankees, the Blue Jays, and the Red Sox, although the Mets and Yankees are definitely favored at this point. Even some people are saying the Mets over the Yankees, Blue Jays and Red Sox kind of in the background, right? And the article went into basically what were the Dodgers thinking, right? The Dodgers just won a World Series without Soto. It wasn't much of an inconvenience to drive through traffic across town and meet with Soto and agent Scott Boras. The meeting helps perhaps drive the price up for Soto. This is absolutely crazy. So the Dodgers, of course, meeting with a player that they're not really interested in just to drive the price up. And even more important, like it says here in the article, it puts a little pressure on outfielder Teoscar Hernandez into re-signing with them. So this is good news because the Dodgers, I think they got to sign Hernandez, right? I really think they got to, have, maximum effort has to be put forward by the front office and everybody involved with the Dodgers, Dave Roberts, players, everybody's got to be part of this, right? To get Teoscar Hernandez to re-sign with the Dodgers. This is absolutely paramount. You don't want to see Teoscar Hernandez go to, a division rival. You don't want to see him go to the Atlanta Braves that has been, of course, reported. The Braves, the Blue Jays, his former team, kind of swooping in and grabbing him. You don't want to see that happen. You want to see him wearing Dodger blue next year because he was just so good for the Dodgers, right? I mean, he played 1 year with the Dodgers and won the World Series and had an absolutely excellent season, right? So you got to hope that Teoscar Hernandez chooses the Dodgers. There's mutual interest, right? Hernandez wants to stay in LA, trying to win more World Series. And the Dodgers, as we know, have interest in keeping him, right? There's definitely interest there. But this article from Bob Nightingale kind of confirms what I think a lot of fans, what do you guys think? Comment below right now. There's fans out there, I saw your comments here on the channel talking about how the Dodgers were not going to be interested really in Juan Soto. And this was more as an idea just to kind of put pressure on, Hernandez to re-sign, right? Thinking, boy, if they sign this guy, maybe I'm out. I'm not going to be getting a contract, right? I'm not, maybe I should accept the offer that I was already given. Because, the Dodgers have probably already proposed an offer. We don't really have any information on that yet. We know that he declined the qualifying offer. But most likely the Dodgers have already extended a multi-year offer to Teoscar Hernandez, but he has just not accepted it, right? He's been, as we know, kind of shopping around, seeing what the market is offering him, right? He has not accepted any contract from anybody. That's why he's still a free agent, reportedly. So maybe the Dodgers have already kind of extended an offer. Hernandez has said no, and, Dodgers meeting with Juan Soto kind of lets Hernandez know, maybe you're going to have to accept that offer because we have options, right? Now, Juan Soto, of course, the Dodgers are out of it, according to Bob Nightingale. there's still some insiders, Jim Bowden of The Athletic, saying the Dodgers are still kind of in it, right? Potentially, he was reporting that the Dodgers could offer Soto a more of a short-term deal with high value, right? Maybe $50 million a year for 3 years, $150 for 3 years, something along that lines, right? Some people are thinking that that could be an option because they're saying that Soto is not going to take, the geographical map into effect, right? Into his decision making, right? Because some people have said that Juan Soto would only sign with an East Coast team, right? Being that he's more comfortable playing in the East Coast, but he's saying that's not true. I'll consider a West Coast team if the offer is right. He wants to know exactly how much money is going to be there, obviously, and I mean the guy won the World Series already, so I think that plays into the whole thing, right? That's why the Yankees are not a done deal. The meeting did go well, as we know, with the Yankees, but the Mets, probably going to be offering a lot of money as well. So it's probably going to come down between the two New York teams. And, if you're a Dodger fan, you got to be excited because you're thinking, well, we're probably going to miss out on Juan Soto, but Teoscar Hernandez, could be on his way to, coming to a decision, right? Because this is what it's all about. It's all about timing, right? Juan Soto is a player that, the question is, when is he going to make that decision, right? I mean, some people are saying the decision of him going to a team is going to come before the winter meetings, potentially early next week. We know the winter meetings are on December 8th, so potentially you could have a decision from, Juan Soto soon, right? It could be next week that could, kind of maybe Juan Soto goes to the Yankees, he goes to the Mets. Maybe this kind of the Dodgers will say, okay, he's definitely gone. We're not going to even play around with this anymore, and now we're going to offer Teoscar Hernandez all the money that he wants, right? That could definitely speed things up for sure, right? The decision timeline, the timeline of Juan Soto's decision, I think has a lot to do with it. And also, you can't forget that the Dodgers are in the midst of going after elite starting pitching, right? Even despite the fact having, Ohtani, Yamamoto, Gonsolin's reportedly coming back, and Dustin May, and all these pitchers, right? Tyler Glasnow, you can't forget about him. There's so many pitchers that are going to be available to the Dodgers. And, you don't know about Walker Buehler and Jack Flaherty. They could be out the door, as we know. But the Dodgers can't forget they're going after elite starting pitching. They got to have some money left over for that. They don't have limited budget here, but I'm just saying they're going to be spending money to go after those guys, and the Juan Soto thing is probably been put to bed, right? Teoscar Hernandez, I'm going to predict, is going to be signing with the Dodgers probably very soon, and that's absolutely great news. As always, make sure to subscribe, and let's go Dodgers. Woo!